Today, we're stepping into a very particular kind of power. It's neither loud nor chaotic. It's that kind of power that comes from clarity, discipline, and clean decision. We're going to be looking at the Mercury Conjunct and Exalted Mars in Capricorn at 25 degrees, with Mercury later applying to the Sun in Cazimi, and the Sun is sitting there at 27 degrees of Capricorn. So this is the mind and the wheel clasping hands and walking into the spotlight. That's the picture of it. We're going to add the ruler of Capricorn, Saturn, who is sitting at 27 degrees of Pisces, applying to Neptune at 29 degrees, which brings a sense of dream, the haze, that longing, and it brings a spiritual undercurrent to the story. Then we'll weave in a pretty unusual Hellenistic nuance for the 16th to 17th of January, as all three of Earth Triplicity rulers are transiting Capricorn together. And finally, for those of you who enjoy the symbolism of the tarot, we'll lay that tarot over the top. There's significators, which are the devil, the sun, and the four of pentacles. So if you've been feeling the pressure to define what's real, choose what matters and stop negotiating with the same old patterns. You're in the right place. So before we begin, just a gentle reminder, both astrology and tarot are tools for reflection and to time things in your life, and definitely for meaning making. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't for you. If you're new here, hello, I'm Karen. This is Soul Symbols Astrology and Tarot, and you're very welcome here. Thank you for joining us. Okay, let's set the tone for today. This is Capricorn work, and that is about structure, it's about boundaries, it's about accountability, responsibility, all those heavy topics, but it's courage as well. This is about courage with Mars being there, but it's not loud. It shows up quietly. It does the job. And it's not performative. It's not looking for applause. So we have Mercury at 25 degrees of Capricorn, and it is conjunct Mars at 25 Capricorn this week. Mars is exalted here in Capricorn, so he's unusually competent here. Even though he's under the beams of the sun, he's combust the sun at the moment. Mercury is applying to the sun. Mars has already been through its Cazimi and the sun is moving off from Mars, but Mercury will later be Cazimi in Aquarius. But applying means the conjunction is building. The story's moving towards an event, not away from it. The simplest translation is with Mercury and Mars, a sharp mind, disciplined action, and a moment of being seen with the sun there. It's a conversation, a decision, a plan, or a boundary of yours, moving from thought into form. Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, grounds imagination, dreams, thoughts into reality. Capricorn is Saturn's domicile, Saturn's temple, and Saturn is about time, it's about responsibility, constraints, consequences, maturity. So it's that sense of if something matters, build it properly. Don't do it half baked is the real sense of it. So Mercury sitting there in Capricorn will be thinking Saturnian thoughts. So it's looking for plans, proof. It will want timelines here and agreements, and will communicate consequences of the work of the building that we're doing. Mars in Capricorn, especially exalted Mars, is the warrior who can follow the manual and still win the war. So he's into the rules here. He's endurance, he's strategy. He's that thought of, I'll do the hard thing and I'll do it well. Mercury conjunct Mars is one of the clearest signatures for decisive speech, not evasive speech, just straight from the hip speech. Okay. Quick thinking. It's very quick on its toes, is Mercury. So it's quick, sharp thinking, decisive, direct communication, absolutely direct, and tactical problem solving. So sometimes Mercury and Mars here are brilliant and sometimes they're a bit spicy. Okay. So you have to watch that communication here. In Capricorn, Mercury and Mars are looking at the issues. What are my options? And then here's the decision out of that calculation. Saturn in Capricorn, the ruler of Capricorn, is very contemplative. So it is a time we may have quick minds, we may have quick thinking, but it's actually a time to ruminate on the issues that you're finding. Have a look at the options you have within those issues and make that sound decision. It's fantastic if you're involved in any sort of negotiations over this week, signing contracts, setting terms. If you're looking to cut any inefficiency within your home, within your finances, within your workplace, this is a fantastic transit for that. And it's about choosing a direction and committing to it. But we do have a caution here. There's always shadow with these archetypes, with the gods, and tongues can become a blade. Okay, so that communication can be cutting and harsh. Capricorn doesn't waste words, and Mars is not there to soften things. So the key is aiming for clean truth, not cruelty, not harshness. So let's stop here a minute with this exalted Mars. Have a look at this, because Mars exalted in Capricorn is a real gift when we use it with intention. Mars can be impulsive. It wants speed and it can be very spontaneous and impulsive. But in Capricorn, it is discipline over that impulse. And instead of reactiveness and knee-jerk reactions, it's Mars is looking for strategy. He's the battle planner rather than the the knee-jerk warrior. Okay, so he's looking for that strategy, the battle plan, the way forward, and courage. He has courage that follows through. Looks like resilience and any ambition that's there within Capricorn. Mars is willing to train. He's willing to do the training to achieve that ambition. So it's a wonderful time this week to build business structures. If you're building your own business or you're working within a business, it's a fantastic time for that building of the business structure. It's also good for tightening routines, any routines we have. I mean, it's New Year, a lot of people put intentions in. So if one of your intentions is to get disciplined with your routines, your daily routines, your daily rituals, your exercise, it's fantastic for tightening those, making them time efficient. Okay. And physical training that's consistent. This is another thing. You got Mars, exalted Mars. He's martial. He's into that physical ability. Okay. And also for making difficult decision and actually sticking to it. If you've been waiting to feel ready, Capricorn, here in Capricorn, there's a sense that being ready has already been built. It's been built in us through previous transits, and you have more practice. So it's a good time to reflect on that. Where are you ready? Where have you built that readiness? Look at your skills, look at what you've built up over last year and acknowledge. Sometimes we procrastinate or we never feel ready. We want to do more learning, more training, but this is a time where Capricorn, Mars, exalted Mars in Capricorn is saying, no, we're ready, and we've had enough practice. We just need to get on and do it. So let's have a look at the sun at 27 degrees Capricorn. It's just short of moving into Aquarius, and Mercury applying to that sun. So it often correlates with something being visible, something becoming official with the sun there. It's authority and official. It can be a moment of leadership or a moment of accountability. So we have, Saturn and Capricorn is consequences. It can be quite karmic in that way. And that accountability can be a good thing or a not so good thing for you. But it can also feel like pressure. You may experience a sense of eyes on you or expectations, but it will bring out that need to be consistent in whatever you're doing. So, the way to look at it with the sun here is to look at the choices you're making, that you're in the middle of making, that decisiveness. If that is public, if those choices become a public story, will you feel proud of it? Will you feel proud of the plot that you're in? That is a good way to kind of measure and discern if you're in making the right choices here. But it's not about approval. It's because Capricorn is wanting that integrity and it wants your life. Saturn wants our lives to match our values. So it's that integrity, that coherence. So importantly with all this, we have a look at Saturn because Saturn is the ruler and everything is expressing in a Saturnian way. So where is Saturn? So here's Saturn, 27 degrees of Pisces and applying to Neptune at 29 degrees. And that conjunction will happen in February, mid-February in Aries. But it is still, they are sharing their significations here. Saturn in Pisces is already telling that story about boundaries in the water. So this can be our emotions, spirituality, about compassion. And porousness, where are we porous? Where are our plans porous? And surrender. And with Neptune in that mix, the theme becomes the fog of uncertainty can be there, particularly in Pisces. We can become very idealistic. We can idealize people, plans, dreams. We can also experience that disillusionment and a longing for escape here in Pisces, or that longing for transcendence, to transcend the material. And there can be blurred lines in our relationships, our commitments, or our responsibility. Saturn's job here is making our dreams, our imaginations, our ruminations, reality, concrete, material, and to make that devotion that Neptune can bring in Pisces, make it something that is sustainable. So giving those boundaries, giving the sea a shoreline, or giving the sea a coral reef for creativity here. And we have a nuance here that makes this configuration, these aspects feel supportive rather than overwhelming. Mercury and Mars in Capricorn are sextile to Saturn in Pisces, but because they're in an early zodiacal order than Pisces, they're in Capricorn. Traditional astrology calls it a superior sextile. So the Capricorn planets see Saturn and can actively support or guide the Saturnian work. Capricorn here and the planets within it is kind of stabilizing that rather nebulous Pisces energy with Neptune there, can help Saturn do that. And this will look like, for us, the energetics of it, it will look like our practical actions, clear conversation, our boundaries, our schedules, our budgets, commitments can help you navigate Saturn, Neptune uncertainty, that fog, without drowning in it. It is putting a vision in a container, in a vessel to sail off. It's that vision of, here are all my dreams. They may be out there, but Saturn will make them more concrete, and off they go, sailing on the sea. Then we can add a really gorgeous layer that I love for the 16th and 17th of January when this conjunction is happening. All three triplicity rulers are transiting Cancer at once. We have the moon moving through roughly 4 to 12 degrees of Capricorn. We have Mars around 24 to 25 degrees over those days, and Venus around 28 to 29 degrees in Capricorn. So I was looking at this and thinking, wow, this is more support here. You could look at it as though, the earth element is holding a council meeting It's very English. We have councils here, political, coming together to hold that meeting and looking at feeling, valuing, and doing. And they're all gathered here in Saturn sign, and they're all speaking the same language: stability, structure, real world resource. So incredibly supportive at this time. So what does this look like? The moon in Capricorn, it's actually in exile. It's in the opposite sign to its domicile, Cancer, but it looks like a practical layer to your emotions become practical, so you may have desires to simplify things, needs to prioritize, less tolerance for drama, for chaos, and more respect for your own time and energy and that of other people. The moon in Capricorn, although it's completely opposite its domicile, it isn't cold, it's careful. What it will be trying to express here is, if you say yes, if I say yes to this, what is it going to cost me next week? So it's a thoughtful, it's not just going with that emotional flow, it's thinking in practical terms for later down the line. The moon here, although it's only here for a short time, it's beautiful for planning, for tidying up our routines, choosing one priority, and making our inner world quieter, which is so what we need at the moment, so that we can hear ourselves again. And then we got Venus, the other triplicity ruler, and Venus is bringing value to this conversation. Venus is asking about, what do I actually want long term? You know, Capricorn's very much about building long term, for longevity. What am I investing in? What am I building with another person or with myself? And that can be inwardly or outwardly. Here in Capricorn, Venus is preferring those qualities of loyalty, consistency, a mature love. Yeah, a mature love. I think I spoke a couple of weeks ago or last week about Venus in her adult clothes in terms of love, and tangible words, tangible care, not just sweet words, not just honey. It's tangible care, it's the action of care here. And Venus in late Capricorn is offering a supportive sextile to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So this looks like values shaping our dreams, love shaping the boundary, and beauty that's sustainable. And Mars here, the other triplicity ruler, especially exalted, is like our engine. He's like the action. He's the machine that is driving it. And with Mercury conjunct Mars, the energy is becoming very practical, making the plans, you know, just making them, not just dreaming about them, having the conversations that we need to have. It can look like just sending out that email you've been thinking about and filing the paperwork. Again, boundary setting. Mars and Mercury will want to set those boundaries. It can look like just simply going and doing a training session or the learning that you wanted to do, skilling yourself up and choosing a strategy and executing it. It's not a scattered energetic here. We are looking at focused energy. So it's a window of time to do the thing that you've either been procrastinating or you've been circling over and over, something we all do. Okay, let's move now to the tarot. The astrology is done, people, if you're not interested in the tarot. Yeah, Capricorn, the major arcana that corresponds is the devil. So the devil, we have lots of overlays to the devil, lots of things that come up for us with this card. But really, the devil is about attachment. It shows us where we're feeling bound. Our attachments make us feel bound up. It's about fear, desire, temptation, duty, or scarcity, and that can be that chain around our neck with the devil. It can be where we outsource power and then resent the cost of that. So how does that feel for us? How can that feel? It can be overworking to feel worthy. Sometimes we do much more than we need to bolster our self-worth. Our self-worth, it can be staying in an arrangement because we feel safe in it. Yeah. It's like staying in anything, relationship or an arrangement, a work arrangement. That's safe, it's comfortable, I'm staying there. But there's a boundness, a chain there. And controlling everything to avoid uncertainty. There is a real power dynamic with this devil card. You know, the devil is standing over the two people there. And it can be about confusing responsibility with self-abandonment. Okay. So they're the sorts of things we need to look at. And because Saturn, Capricorn's ruler, is applying to Neptune in Pisces, there's also that element with the devil card here of blurred boundaries, vague agreements, saving someone at the expense of yourself or hoping something will fix itself without structure. That sense of the Pisces, water and Neptune, and it's like, let's just go with the flow, and almost having too much faith that a structure will appear around it, okay, or it will be fixed without that structure there. So the devil card is asking us here, you know, what contract am I living by, and did I consciously sign it? That's basically what it's about. But there is relief and there is revelation with this. You're working in the third decan of Capricorn. The zodiac sign is split up into 10 degrees, 10 to 20, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to the end of the sign. The tarot tone that's being brought here in this third decan is the sun. It is the sun that rules the third decan, and of course the significator for the actual sun up in the sky is the sun card. So this card is about clarity, illumination, and it's truth, but truth that's made simple here. And astrologically, Mercury is literally applying to the sun, and you know, Mercury is signified by that magician. So tarot and astrology are singing the same note. Our medicine, how we apply this, is bring everything into the light. Say it plainly. So let your speech be plain. Your yes be yes, your no be no. And naming our boundaries clearly, concisely naming our boundaries and making that decision official, taking authority, you know, taking the chains where we feel trapped, taking those off our neck. The sun in Capricorn, it's not naive optimism. It's confidence that we've earned as we've done our inner work, and it's the steadiness that comes from competence. So the minor arcana is our Four of Pentacles for that third decan. So it's the lived experience on the ground. That is what the Four of Pentacles is about. So that card is about holding, it's about securing, consolidating. Four is a very stable number numerologically. If you've got the healthy kind of Four of Pentacles, not the reversal, the shadow of it, we've got wise budgeting, strong boundaries, protecting your time and energy, saying no to what drains you, and creating, building things, a container for what truly matters. But if we've got that shadow form, it becomes, you know, he's holding on, isn't he? In the card, it's that clenching from fear. It can be having a scarcity mindset. We move from the Four of Pentacles to the Five of Pentacles, and that is the scarcity mindset. So we're at a bridge here with this Four of Pentacles. It's looking for where that scarcity mindset is with that shadow, and it's control, using control. The guy on the Four of Pentacles has got a crown on. He's a king, but he can use his control wrongly, the same as the devil with the chains around the people's neck. So control was a substitute for trust. It can also be an emotional withholding and hoarding your time, your love, your money, or your warmth. That's the shadow. So the card is asking you, are you protecting what matters, or are you afraid to let anything move? But again, Saturn applying to Neptune in Pisces highlights that exact tension. We want safety, but life is asking for faith. So Capricorn is saying, let's build a safety that is real. That's how the Four of reflection on the Four of Pentacles can help you along with the astrology. To work with this in real life, it's, practicality. If you want to work with Mercury, Mars in Capricorn, applying to the Sun in a supportive sextile to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, here are a few grounded practices. Practice 1, the clean truth. Before you send the message, have the conversation, make the decision, reflect on what is the clean truth here? What is the minimum I need to say clearly? And what boundary is there that I need to name? Clean truth isn't harsh, it's precise. Practice 2, build that vessel. Saturn in Pisces wants the dream, Capricorn wants the container. So just pick one, pick yourself something you can work with that is really grounded and practical. Do you need a schedule? Do you need to just sit down and schedule your time and energy? Or do you need to do that with your finances and have that budget in place? Do you need to put a boundary on your time, your energy, and what you're giving out? Or a boundary to keep people from, stepping into your space and taking your energy. Or a simple plan with dates. They're all very good things to work with in this transit. Practice, whatever you choose, practice that for a week. Capricorn loves a test, okay? And then practice 3, choose one mountain, okay? Saturn in Capricorn doesn't thrive on 10 goals. It thrives on one meaningful climb. So ask yourself, if I could stabilize one area of my life this week, what would it be? And when you've got that, just give your best energy there. So here's a few prompts that you can work with. Pause the video if you want to write them down. Prompts. The first one, what am I holding on to for safety? And is my grip supportive or is it suffocating? Where am I over controlling because the bigger picture feels uncertain? What is the simplest truth that I need to say out loud? What structure would help the dream become real? A plan, a boundary, a budget, a schedule. And what would secure enough look like so I can loosen the chain without losing myself? To move yourself away from that mindset of scarcity. In summary, Mercury conjunct exalted Mars in Capricorn gives us a discipline clarity. It helps you cut through the indecision and act with strategy. Applying to the Sun, this becomes visible, official, owned. Okay, and because Capricorn's ruler Saturn is in Pisces, applying to Neptune, the world may feel tender, foggy, uncertain, or spiritually charged. But the superior sextile says you can shape that, you can stabilize the dream with structure. And then we have the tarot confirming that. We have the devil that shows what the chain is, the Four of Pentacles that shows you where you hold, and the Sun shows you how to free yourself by bringing it into the light. So there it is. If this helped you, please do, the like, the subscribe, the share it with someone who's trying to build something real right now. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, and thank you for those who have commented. I'm going to pose a question for you. What boundary, plan or commitment are you making to support your dream this week? So reply in one sentence or just the number of the prompt you're working with. I'm going to put that below. But as always, take care of your nervous system, take care of your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.